866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. We're waiting to see how the markets open. Right now, it's looking like they're going to open in negative territory, primarily due to the job numbers, to the numbers that came out on housing starts. So it was a little bit, not a little bit, it was a whole lot more negative. They were expecting 950,000 units. They got 880, so that was a pretty big miss. So that would be one of the reasons. And I think there's just more and more people starting to realize, coming to their senses, starting to understand that, you know what, I think the fundamentals of the economy might not be quite as strong as we originally thought they might be. You think? Anyway, and it's just a matter of time before they come out and start to realize and understand that the unemployment numbers aren't even close either, because nobody's going to convince me that these unemployment numbers are even close to being accurate. There's no way they are. And, you know, I don't know how we can even justify a 37-year low in our labor participation rate with an unemployment rate where it is. And we're not talking about temporary or part-time employment. It's insane. And, you know, it's interesting. We know the books are cooked. I mean, we know that now, right? Because in 2011, this tipster came out and warned the Labor Department in 2011 that the unemployment statistics were being fabricated by some people at the Department of Commerce. I'm sorry, not the Department of Commerce, the Census Bureau. Remember, the Census Bureau is the organization that compiles the data for the Department of Labor that eventually gets to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Right? So they ignored the warning. Now, there is investigations going on from what I can see and understand, but nevertheless, it's 2014 now. This warning was given in 2011. One can only assume that it's been going on since 2009, let's say, that it's been going on, and we've done nothing about it. Nothing is going on. Nothing's happening. So, you know, it's only, the situation has only gotten worse. It's like if any of you have ever been involved in any kind of construction industry or home remodeling, if you put a little 2-foot level on a 30-foot wall and it's only out just a hair, by the time you get to the end of the 30 feet, it's going to be out 3 inches. I'm making a number up, but you know what I mean. It gets worse as it continues to go. So we're getting a bad number on top of a bad number on top of a bad number, and who knows what reality is. And I think people are going to start, I think traders, I think those that are carefully watching the economy are going to start to come to this realization, not just all of us. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Robert. Robert's calling us from Missouri. Hey, Robert.
Yes, Dan. Thank you for taking my call. I just want you to know I appreciate all you do to educate us out here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I do have a question. I got a lot of things I'd like to talk about, but I'll just make it short as I can. I work for a company. I drove a truck. I drove their truck, and then about 3.5 years ago, I bought the truck off from them and leased it on to them. So I can't contribute to my 401k anymore.
Okay.
So what I'm wondering is if I should roll that over into an IRA so I can contribute, or if I should maybe start a Roth IRA.
I would roll it over, Robert. How far are you from retirement?
Oh, I'm 48.
Yeah, I would roll it over. I would roll it over into an IRA that, you know, you can contribute to, but more importantly, not that that's not important, but that you can control, that you have some say over what it's in and where it's going, and what, you know, what you feel would be the right thing with it based on, you know, what you know. And what you feel. So I think that it ought to be rolled over into an IRA account. And yes, absolutely, you ought to contribute to it. Now, if it doesn't have a lot of money in it, then I would suggest that you probably roll it over into a Roth IRA and pay the taxes. But, you know, you're 48, it might have a fair amount of money, and the tax bill might be a little bit more to bear than you'd like.
Yeah, it has between 25 and 30,000 in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would roll it over into an IRA. I mean, I certainly would consider rolling it into a Roth. Maybe you check with your tax guy when you do your taxes, but I would consider rolling it into a Roth, even at that amount. But yeah, definitely move it and start contributing to it on a very regular basis, as often and as much as you can.
Okay. Another question is, how do I go about rolling that over?
Okay. Yeah. So what you're going to do is wherever you open your account. So let's say you go to a Scottrade or something like that online and you open your account. They will process that for you. There will be a transfer form. They will attach your recent statement from your 401k to that transfer form. You'll give them a copy of that, and they will handle it. So you won't have to do anything. It'll just show up in your new account. You just have to do that little bit of paperwork when you open up the new account.
Okay, I've heard you talk about a lot about Timothy plans and stuff. I mean,
I think
did that come into play, or
absolutely. I mean, I think if it, that you may want to consider doing that and just get involved in a couple of the mutual funds there and just forget about it and have money going in on a regular basis, direct deposit right from your checking account over there. And you can call there or go there and open up an IRA account. And, again, same thing, roll it over, to that program and just, deal with their 12 mutual funds.
Okay. And one other question. I've heard you talk, and I've just caught the last of it. I listen to you every chance I get, but I've heard a little bit. I've got a little bit of money in Edward Jones, and it's in American funds, and it's just like $7,000-8,000. But I've heard, some comments about American funds, but I never heard, where you wasn't too thrilled with them or something.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily American funds. It's all mutual funds. American funds is a big offender, but that are they're not biblically responsible. And I think that if we are striving to be conscious of where God's money goes, what it's going into, I think that you ought to move that American fund money out of there and put it over into Timothy. Again, or some individual stocks or whatever you might want to do with it, but I would move it out of there. Let's try to get biblically conscious with all of this, and I think we'll be far better off in the long run. Especially now for you, Robert, because you've had a good run last year. You're up considerably. Now's a good time to move that, capture that gain, and that would make a lot of sense for you.
Okay. And just to comment, I'm thinking about becoming a partner with you. Mm-hmm. But just something I heard you mention a while ago about this global warming stuff. I'll tell you what, I drive a truck that's about 14 years old, and the president coming out and talking about all these emissions on trucks. And also I heard a day or two ago where EPA was wanting to regulate wood furnaces, and I burn wood. That's my source of heat. It just really makes me curious to see what all the regulations it's putting on us. But I just wanted to make that comment before I hang up, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Robert. And you know what, Robert's, the new emissions that came out just this week, that the president's goals applies to light duty and heavy duty trucks. And listen, Boone Pickens has been talking about this for a long, long time, and we need to go to natural gas and all that. But look, I hate to keep bringing these things up that I said I hate to do that, but before Obamacare was passed, I said that the worst piece of legislation to ever hit the floor of the House of the Representatives was the cap and trade bill. I said it was without a doubt the most incredible piece of legislation and an incredible power grab and social control that the government would have if that law were passed. And I said there's never been, and I still believe, even compared to Obamacare, that it is without a doubt the worst piece of legislation to ever happen. It will control everybody's life. It will control how much wood you burn in your fireplace, in your heater, in your furnace. If you use wood pellets or wood, it's going to control that. It's going to control how much oil you burn, how much natural gas you burn, what you use on your furnace. If you're in business, how much you use to operate your business. It's going to put a level of social control and power in the hands of governments to the like of which you've never seen. It was a left progressive movement to get this bill in. Now, the reason why when it failed, when it didn't get passed in the House of Representatives, that you heard nothing about it, no debate, nothing. Everybody just went away. It was just fine. And there were some progressive leaders that were fired up about it originally, that we've got to pass this. And the reason for that, I don't know this for a fact. I'm making this assumption, okay? I don't always do that, so I'm allowed to do it every once in a while. But I'm making an assumption that President Obama said to his cronies, hey, look, don't worry about it. Because I'm taking this bill, this cap and trade bill, and I'm going to hand it off to our EPA. And the EPA is going to take care of it. And that's exactly what has happened. And folks, I know there's people out there that have been listening to the show for many, many years that heard me say that loud and clear back in early 2009. I know there are people that remember me saying that. And that's exactly what has happened. It's been passed off to the EPA. And they have managed to shut down the coal industry. They're not quite finished with that. They're going to attack, as the caller said, wood stoves, wood furnaces. Here in Pennsylvania, where I live, if you go up into the Pocono Mountains and the areas up in there, you know, almost everywhere you go, there are people that have these outside boilers. They're outside the home. They're this big unit. It's about as big as a car, taller. And these units that have these big smokestacks on them, and they burn wood, and the pipes run underground into the house, and they heat the house. And everybody has them. They're a great, efficient way to heat a house. I don't know. I mean, forget it. They're going to all be shut down. And the EPA is going to be coming after all of those. It's gotten rid of the coal industry. It's next going to hit all the individual kinds of things, like I just pointed out. It's going to hit the oil industry. The oil industry, I said at the very first State of the Union speech, at the end of that first State of the Union speech, that's a clip I know I could find because I know when the first State of the Union speech was. But I said, I'm telling you, if you think he's coming off, if he's coming after the insurance companies, because he was talking about Obamacare, let me tell you something. Over 2.5-3% profit, you oil companies, you've got a target so big on your back, you can't even see yourself for the target. And so be ready, because it will catch up with you as well. So we've got a lot of those kinds of things going on. It's going to continue to happen. And I think the realization of that is finally hitting home with a lot of people. And I'm not talking about the everyday Joe, you and I, and the average person. I'm talking about corporate leaders, certainly hitting home with corporate leaders and traders. Let me go to James in Louisiana. Hey, James. James?
Yes, sir. How are you today?
Good morning.
Good morning. I got a very simple question.
Okay.
My wife used to work for Walmart, and when she was working for Walmart, she was buying shares. Obviously, when she left, they discontinued that.
Sure.
And she's trying to convince me to sell the shares. I'm saying leave them there. I'm wondering if you agree with me and take the dividends, reinvest them, or should I go ahead and try to buy some more shares at this time?
Are you guys retired, James? Where are you still working?
Am I still working?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working.
Okay.
She's working elsewhere. She's not working for Walmart anymore.
Okay. I would keep them. I mean, Walmart has such a great record over a long period of time. And at some point in time, you'll have a situation where you don't reinvest your dividends anymore. You start receiving those dividends by way of income. and you'll get to that point someday when you both retire. But if you got 7, 8, 10 years before you're going to rely on this money in any way, shape, or form, I would keep it. Would I add to it? Yeah, I mean, I probably would. I would add to it if you get a chance to do that. Now's a good time to add. It's had a rough start of the year, so it continues to be down. So I would. I wouldn't have a problem adding to it, but they're looking at a 2.5% dividend this year, so that's pretty good, and it's a good company and has a great track record. So I would definitely keep it.
Lord bless.
Okay, thank you, James. 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. You're listening to American Family Radio Network, Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. By the way, all the major indices in negative territory. The Dow's down slightly, down 9. The S&P down 1. So not a lot of movement. I didn't see where it opened, but that's where we are right now. It's in negative territory. We'll see if it continues to move downward. Also, as we look at commodities and we try to get a look at the oil market, crude is at 102.86 right now, 102.86. So that continues to move up. Gold is off its highs. It's down about $4.50. It's at $13.19. Natural gas, $5.88. Holy mackerel. Natural gas continues to go up. It's $5.88. Silver is at $21.86. And the agricultural commodities, corn and wheat in positive territory, everything else negative. 866-300-9298. Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. We'll be right back.